Luca Comics and Games played host to the Quake Pro League Stage 1 finals, as the best 24 players descended on the Church of Quake for their chance to etch their names onto the championship belts. Let's take a quick look back at what happened, who made their mark, and who fell short. 4 players were battling to remain in the league against hungry challengers. Sparty took on CNZ, Sib against Dewey, Brick against Genig, and Garpy found himself face to face with Quake legend Cypher. All 4 challengers would usurp their position against their foe, and find themselves qualified for QPL Stage 2. Heading into the round of 20, we'd see many new matches for Stage 1, as America's players came face to face with EU CIS players. Things would unfortunately not go well for the region, as America's players lost every single confrontation against EU CIS players in this round. This would mean that only Nosfer, Cygib, and Zahang would progress on for the region, alongside Rafa, who had already qualified for the round of 8 as the global points leader. Challenger Cypher would do battle with Tox, who was on a hot streak after managing to keep himself away from relegation and placing 4th in the EU CIS region. Unfortunately for Tox, this streak was shut down by Cypher in dramatic fashion, as the Swedish legend was sent packing. The round of 12 would be just as dominant for the Belarusian, as he managed to dispatch Ron in another dominant 2-0. In the second round of 12 match, Zahang, who just missed out on a top 4 finish after a brutal 0-3 loss to Rafa in week 10 of Stage 1, would play against Avec, who'd finished 8th in the Americas division in a match that should have been a comfortable win for Zahang. Avec would put up a strong fight, however, and push Zahang to 3 maps. This trend would continue for the rest of the round of 12 as games became closer and closer. Brazilian superstar Nosfer played against Cygib in a heated America's rivalry that would see the Brazilian fall in the 3rd map by a single frag. In the final match of the rounds, hometown hero Venga went head-to-head against Base. The first map between the two was a nail-biter, as frags were traded back and forth before Base pulled out ahead to take map 1. The Italian refused to give up, however, and was able to find new resolve in maps 2 and 3 to shut Base down in dominant fashion. Venga would find himself up against reigning champion Kilson, a match that we saw 3 times in the first stage, with Venga taking 2 of the contests 2-1. This matchup would prove to be just as close, as the action went all the way to a 5th map in the best of 5 stage, before Kilson put the final nail in the coffin to send Venga packing on home soil. Elsewhere in the rounds of 8 saw 3 American players against 3 EU CIS players. The first of these games had Russian legend Cooler play against Cygib. Despite a solid map 1 performance that went in the way of Cygib, Cooler hit back hard and took the following 3 maps in rapid succession. Razy vs Zahang went in similar fashion, although Razy was able to keep a clean sheet and shut down Zahang 3-0. The last bastion of the America's hope was laid on the shoulders of global point leader Rafa, who was taking on the last remaining challenger Cypher. Now Rafa and Cypher are both legends of the game, who have come head-to-head many times over the years, and fans were eagerly awaiting to see if Cypher could muster up a fight against the ever-dominant Rafa. Map 1 was a low-scoring nail-biter, with only 3 frags occurring, 2 of which went the way of Cypher. Map 2 was another back-and-forth affair, decided by only 1 frag. Again, this went in the way of Cypher, as he took things 8-7 to put himself on match point. Rafa rallied on Molten Falls and swept the floor with Cypher in a dominant 15-5 victory, showing that Rafa was ready to reverse Sweet Cypher and take the W. Cypher had other plans. Another high-scoring game, this time on Awoken, saw Cypher's stellar form overpower Rafa, as he took his 3rd win of the series, eliminating Rafa from the competition. The semi-final was set, Razy vs Cypher and Cooler vs Kilson. 2 incredible games with 4 legends of the game. Razy and Cypher kicked off the proceedings in what was expected to be a slobber knocker of a series. Unfortunately for Cypher, his monumental run was to end at the hands of the Hungarian. Razy, who'd looked so dominant in his 3 series of feat of Zahang, showed the same form here as he absolutely crushed Cypher 3-0 to qualify himself for the finals of QPL Stage 1. The second semi-final mirrored the action of the first, as the first place finisher at QuakeCon came up against the second place finisher. This time, however, Cooler would take his revenge over the German, as he took 3 consecutive maps to eliminate Kilson and guarantee a brand new champion for QPL. Cooler or Razy. Razy, who'd yet to drop a map so far in the tournament, and Cooler, who'd only dropped 1, both looked hot coming into the finals. Both players were hungry and ready to hoist the belts. Things got underway on Awoken in what would be a nail-biter. It looked as though Razy would take the map, but Cooler pulled the rug out from under him to take the first map of the series by a single frag. Corrupted Keep was a much more dominant affair from the Russian, with 16-5 being the final score to put Cooler just one map away from victory. A much safer style was utilised by both players on Blood Covenant, and once again the map was decided by a single kill. Cooler took the third map, and with that, the Stage 1 champions was his.